DC101. I'm Mike Jones here today with WWE superstar Roman Reigns, who's going to be at the Verizon Center tonight. And then on Sunday, we're looking forward to Money in the Bank. Dude, you are huge, man. You don't look this big on TV. What do you eat, Volkswagens for breakfast? Jesus.
No, a good bit of chicken, and yeah, the whole race of chicken probably hates people like me. But yeah, it's usually backwards. It's usually the other way around. People think I look bigger on TV. So
no, man,
that was quite the compliment.
Hey, you got the guns to prove it, dude. I don't think you need the compliments from me. So, Roman, I'm going to start off telling you that for almost 2 years now, you, Dean, and Seth, I absolutely hated your characters. You guys, you did your jobs perfectly, making people like me and all the fans angry because just coming out there, you know, beating up everyone you could. You guys are the perfect heels for a long time. Are you ready now for the change to go towards the good guy direction?
I think so. You know, and thank you for, you know, putting over our work. I think, you know, the way we've been booked and what we do, you know, our whole style, we just come out and we fight. We go through the crowd, which is different and it's cool. Never been done. And I'm proud to say that I'm still doing it. I think it's hard not to get into what we do. You know, we believe in the fight. We believe in standing up for what we believe in. And anytime you can carry that out, I think people will get behind that. Absolutely,
dude. When you guys were walking through the crowd, I mean, Dean and Seth aren't doing that anymore, but now that you are still doing it, were there any moments where anyone got a little too rowdy, anyone get too handsy, and it's like, all right, dude, you need to back it off, otherwise I'm going to have to take some action here?
Yeah, and every once in a while people will get you, you know, and like the padding is cool, and I get it, you know, and that's what makes those seats a cool thing is now is you can get right up on us, and like you said, get a sense for, you know, how big we are and, you know, what we really look like up close. But every once in a while there'll be that guy who's just, you know, he's a little bit too excited. And he gets you right on the back of the neck. Yeah, and you're just like, oh, what are you doing, man? Come on.
I remember seeing, I think it was Dean at one of the pay-per-views, someone slapped him and he turned around and I thought he was just going to deck the guy. And I'm like, man, that's kind of risky for you guys to do that all the time. I mean, like you said, it looks great and everything, but there's always that potential of someone just taking it way too far there.
Yeah, I think in that time that the guy, he popped me in the back of the neck pretty good. I did turn around. I was like, don't ever do that. You know what I mean? Like I may have scared him a little bit, but to be honest though, the crowds and the fans have been awesome. Even when we go, you know, overseas in Europe and stuff, you know, like, and they only get to see us 1 or 2 times a year, depending. So like the excitement level that they have is even on a different level. But the fans have been great, and you know, fortunately for us, a lot of times we're out at the end of the night. So by that time, you know, they're serving beers and, you know, things like that. And, you can get a rowdy crowd, you know.
Oh, yeah.
After a few hours of drinking, you know, people can get a little too excited, but they've been great with us. They really have.
I love going to Raw because it's like you get all these different people coming in and they're from all different walks of life, but just to see you guys perform and cut loose, have a good time, that's really what it's all about all the time.
Yeah, and you know, it's entertainment. It's a good time. We're here, you know, essentially to put smiles on people's faces in some regard, but to, you know, to really sit back and look at the whole production of it, it's like going to an amusement park. It's a great time, and it's for the family, it's for grown single men, it's for grown single women, it's for, you know, it's little kids, it's for everybody, all different walks of life. So to be a part of that, I'm pretty proud of it.
It's an awesome thing, dude. So let's talk about your career, man. You started what, FCW down in 2010, which then became NXT, and then it took, 2012 came into WWE around Survivor Series, right around there?
Yeah.
Okay, so November-ish. And ever since you got into WWE, since you came up to the big leagues, you guys have been in major league main event situations the entire time, dude. I mean, was there a lot of pressure for you, or were you just like, look, I'm in here, I'm doing it?
Yeah, I mean, at first, you know, when you think about it, there's pressure, but once you kind of just get thrown in the fire, you're just doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you get thrown in the deep end, you're going to sink or swim. And in that regard, when you're fresh like that, they kind of just want to see what happens. You know what I mean? Especially a situation like us. I mean, I don't think there was huge plans, you know, that, you know, they didn't really look into the future and like, oh, we got put in turtlenecks to begin with, you know, just like the word, like we were going to come out with Shield, like plastic riot
like
shields.
Captain America kind of shields.
Yeah, not even that cool, man. Like, that would have been an upgrade for sure. And that's Captain America. He's lame. But like for us, we just kind of evolved over the time, and we kept doing our thing. We kept doing our thing, showing new things, and you know, it worked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys definitely became big-time superstars pretty quick to do that. When when you and Dean and Seth came in, and who else was right around your time? Was Big E right around your time too?
Yeah, Big E, we all debuted pretty much in the, I think he was a couple weeks after us. Big E, and just so many, like, and before us, you got guys like Damian Sandow, Cesaro, you know, and a few others, but just a lot of young guys, a lot of fresh talent out there, and you know, it's the locker room is there's a lot of new faces, but a lot of hardworking guys, and we're proud of that. Absolutely.
Did you guys have any? Did you have any hazing to go through? Because I don't know, I don't look like it, but I did play some sports, and I went through some hazing and initiation too. Like, did the veterans give you guys any beef while you were coming up, like first couple months there or anything?
No.
Maybe not you. Maybe the other guys.
You know, I've always been a locker room guy and pretty cool with everybody. Nobody really messed with me. You know, but occasionally there's a rib here and there, you know, and those things happen. But yeah, nobody really messed with us. They kind of left us alone. But at the same time, what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room.
Yeah, and I didn't want you to reveal any stories or anything. I just wanted yes or no on that. So I'll take your answer as things happened. We're leaving it at that.
Yeah, they left. They didn't really mess with us too much, but it happens.
Okay. When you're going in the back there with the other guys, are you one of the people that's taken new ideas around to the veterans, like, you know, Cena and Kane and Big Show and everyone? Are you like, hey, I have this move, I have this idea, I want to try out. What do you guys think of it? Will you do that before you'll present it to the higher ups and say, this is something I've thought about, what do you think?
Anything in ring like that, I mean, yeah, everyone kind of has their own little circle, you know, their team of guys that they go to. You know, one guy that I, you know, really like to talk to is Joey Mercury. You know, he's a producer now and a former talent.
He's been there forever too.
And he's been wrestling for, like, I think he's actually lived life longer wrestling than not. And he was down there in developmental with me, so that's a guy I'll bounce things off of a good bit, along with my family. But for me, like maneuvers and things like that, that's not the big stuff. You know, obviously you have your finishes, but if I'm feeling something, I'll do it. You know,
okay.
I don't really run it by anybody. You know, if you know, I'll do it, or I'll be like, hey Joey, watch this match. Tell me what you think of this thing. And, you know, and I'll get some feedback, but a lot of times you just do it and you go off the reaction. You know, and if the people are into it, it may be a keeper.
Keep it then, for sure. How'd you come up with that kick, dude? Because I've never seen anybody doing it. You're running. For anybody that doesn't know, Roman will come around the side of the ring, run, and then plant your right foot into a guy's face. How'd you come up with that, dude? Because that looks like it just kills people when you do it. It's amazing looking.
Well, my main thing was just trying to think of different ways to use the ring, different areas, because like a lot of times most things happen directly in the middle or just like in a corner. Anytime you can do anything on the apron, and I have actually, if I can remember them, you know, I have a few other maneuvers that take advantage of the ring and its own regard. But for me, it was just a combination of trying to do something different. And when you throw a regular drop kick, you fall down, you know, way higher. When I throw my drop kick, I'm jumping up high, but I'm literally only this high over.
Yeah, it looks great, but you're only hitting.
Yeah, it's not that rough on me. And that's something you have to think of. If your offensive moves hurt you as well, then you may not want to do them.
Are there moves that you won't do just because it's too much on you?
Well, you know, for me, I try to keep my feet on the ground, and I do a lot of running, and I do a lot of jumping maneuvers. But my main thing is to try and stay off that top rope.
Okay.
Yeah, those are C's I'm not trying to chart. You know, like that's not my thing up there.
You can catch the guys coming off the top. You don't need to be the dude doing the Hurricane Rana off the third turnbuckle.
And I don't even like catching guys. You know what I mean? Like that ain't easy either. I like explosive movements are my thing. Going from slow to extremely fast are things I thrive in. So that's why I try to build my offense around.
So tonight we have Raw at the Verizon Center, and then on Sunday it's Money in the Bank in Boston, where you're going to be part of the 7-person main event. And you know, now that you're out of the Shield, you're all by yourself now. Is there any trepidation, any hesitation about doing this on your own, or was this time for Roman Reigns to be taking things to the next level as Roman Reigns, not as a part of a group?
No, I mean there is no hesitation. There's no brakes on this vehicle right now. I'm trying to hit my head on the goalpost, and that's the thing. People, you don't realize how much we wrestle every week. I've main evented, the last European tour. I've done a lot of things on my own. I've had a lot of singles matches and live events and stuff. So to do what I'm doing now, I'm prepared for it. I've been doing it now. I've closed shows multiple times. I understand that responsibility, and that's what I look forward to. That's what pushes me, is to just continually get better and push way past what the potential mark is set for me.
Okay, now, not saying that you're nervous about the match itself, but the ladder, that's a big part of it too. And the last 3 pay-per-views, you've been involved in some pretty rough matches. Is there any hesitation about being in the ladder match? Because is this one of your first ladder matches like this? Because I've seen hardcore matches with you guys, but ladder specifically.
With this story, we're trying to climb. So, I've obviously worked with ladders and sticks and, all the different toys, but climbing the ladder and being, 10 feet in the air, that's a whole different story. And like I just said, I'm not a top rope guy. So,
no.
But at the same time, you can take advantage of the ladder. You can use it in your advantage. But when it comes down to it, you got to climb. So it's going to be interesting. I'm prepared. And for me, I just don't care. You know what I mean? If you've ever looked at my Twitter, you've seen my back. Pain, who cares?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Whatever. But, as long as it don't kill me, I can learn from it.
I was going to ask you about your back, actually, because it was it Payback was the last pay-per-view that we just had?
Yeah.
Where, you're laying on those metal steps, and they were doing a number on you, dude, and how did that feel leaving the match? I mean, you guys all beat the crap out of each other, but you specifically took the brunt of that beating that night.
Yeah, the first couple of them were pretty bad. You know what I mean? I mean, they by no means did they feel good, but it was one of those things where you just end up getting used to it. You know, like by the 8th, 19th time. You know what I mean? It's just like, you're just like, whatever. Like, let's just
do it. Is that all you got?
Just get done with it already. But where I really felt it was the drive. Like, after the adrenaline wore off and I'm sitting in the car, a little bit cramped up in the back seat. That's when I started to notice, like, wow.
Yeah,
they put me through it tonight. I earned my money. And then the next night, it happened again. Yeah, I think the chairs and then multiple chair shots from Randy. So I had a pretty rough 48 hours.
Yeah, that was a bad week for you.
I deserved a drink after those nights.
When you guys are in the car, you said you're traveling around, something like that. Are you stopping at rest stops to get ice and put all over you and everything?
No, most of the time it's just bathroom breaks and trying to pick up some, a snack or a drink or something like that. Or most times energy drinks to stay up because we are on the road.
Yeah, late night drives and everything.
Yeah, but it's funny because we were just talking about this earlier. Like, it's probably like I'm a big buffoon for doing this, but I'm not big into ice. I try not to use it, even though it's very helpful, and especially being a former football player. That's all you do is ice and stim, ice and stim. But I don't like the message it sends when people see me with ice. It's like, is he hurt? What's wrong with him? I like to go out there and do awesome stuff that looks like it's painful, and it is, but then just no sell it. Like, I'm great.
So you got to keep on the Superman persona all the time.
Like, it's perception's reality, and like I said, it may be something stupid on my behalf, but it's just the way I do my things.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you've been an athlete all your life, so you know how to handle your body. You're good with it. Which of the superstars right now that are coming up, which are the ones that you're impressed with? The ones that you're really watching from the back and you're like, wow, these two have a great angle going on. I really like what I'm seeing from him.
There's a bunch of them, and it's not even necessarily like the angle. It's just like individual traits of certain guys. Like, anytime Cesaro's wrestling a match, I try to watch it. Anytime he's in the ring, I try to watch and see what he does, and he's just impressive.
He's going to be a main eventer very soon.
Oh, absolutely. but he, anytime you can get eyes on what he's doing and just and enjoy, what he brings to a match. I don't know if I've ever seen him in a bad match, and that speaks volumes for a performer. Anytime Bray Wyatt talks, it's cool to, and sometimes, it's what the hell is this guy talking about?
Sometimes it can be nonsense, but it's captivating.
But it works, it works for him. But then sometimes you get lost in like, whoa, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, man, and you can kind of get lost and be a fan, but it's just, there's a ton of young guys, and I think, with what Triple H has done with the Performance Center down in Orlando and NXT, you're just going to continue to see these different personalities, these guys that are coming up and they're ready. You know what I mean? Like they're driven and they've been battle tested. They've been through it. They know what's going on. And that's something you have to be prepared for, because when that red light's on, you got to go. You got to go.
When you're looking at the camera, it's time to roll. Yep. And plus the guys from NXT, they have their characters developed. They're not going to go through that awkward, like, all right, what am I going to do here? Yeah. They've had the TV time. NXT looks like WWE with the way they set it up, a mini version of it, but they're ready to go when they're coming up to your level now.
Absolutely. And they've had, time to try different things and test out, what's going to work for them and their characters and the situations. And, it can be complicated. You gotta think of, all the different situations and how you would react and all those type of things. But, and for us, we're really the last of just guys who didn't have that. We did have a lot of experience in developmental with FCW and things like that. But, before we started the Shield, me, Dean, and Seth were all fighting down in Florida. we're all opponents. So, for us to be grouped, there was like a growing process for us, which I think kind of made the Shield beautiful. You know what I mean? Because we were just doing it. There wasn't like it wasn't like premeditated. It was just on the fly. And a lot of it just stuck and just, sat well with everybody. So I'm pretty proud of that we were able to just naturally, organically evolve.
Yeah, I think making a character organic, and you guys gelled so well together. It's much better than forcing something, because we've seen a lot of people being forced and it just doesn't work out for them, Yeah.
Well, and that was our thing, and I think that speaks volumes for all of our personalities. We were able to do the team thing like nobody else. I mean, like just out there fighting for each other, not caring what just it's us against the world. And I think that's what worked for us, being the Shield, and then, what happened with that bastard Seth.
And by the way, speaking of Seth, I don't know if I'm down with the new look he's got with the pants. I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling that yet. Are you going to change your look, by the way? Are you going to keep the vest and everything?
Yeah, God, no, I'm not changing. I'll show, some new vests. I have a few new things. Like the vest I wore for WrestleMania, I have similar looks to that. A couple different color schemes, but I'll stay with the black and, throw in a team color here and there. But, yeah, he's into that tight stuff,
Hey, that's not me.
He wears skinny jeans and things like that. So, but I think it's a cool look because it works for him. It's different, but it's still like kind of Shieldish.
Yeah,
he's all black and he's not straying too far away from what he was before. It ain't in my gear.
Yeah. Like he's not looking like the Rockers did back in the day, but he's still keeping with that whole like darker kind of thing with the Shield. You know what? Back in the day, you grew up in wrestling all your life. Your family was big time, The Rock's your cousin and everything. What are your early memories of coming up? Do you remember meeting the guys at different events and everything? And who were the ones that you were watching as a kid?
Yeah, it's funny because like, I've been to so many shows, but like actually being in the crowd was like something I don't know if I've ever just sat in the crowd for a whole show, like maybe gone out for a match or two and then just always been in the back, and one thing I always remember doing, I think we were in like Biloxi, Mississippi for a taping or a Raw or something like that, and just sitting in front of like the backstage where a lot of the interviews and stuff are done, and you're just sitting there watching, and there'll be a guy just, a wrestler come up and he'll just cut his promo and then the next one would come, or they'd be doing announcements and things like that. So it's always been cool. Catering was always like a thing, I think, yeah, like look at all the desserts and all the
are those cookies?
Food. Yeah. Is that lobster right by steak, right next to cookies? Like they just put cookies in between that stuff. Why are they doing that? But yeah, it's always been like the backstage feel.
When you guys are when you're doing your promos, I guess now that made it a lot easier because you were growing up around it. It's nothing for you to get on the mic or anything.
Yeah, and I've just kind of always, I know my, what I've shown, kind of in the past, and like in the first couple of years is just the quiet one, the powerhouse, not really, the soft spoken, not having too much to say, but I've always been comfortable like socializing and being around people and talking and holding conversations. So it's never been a big deal for me. And like I said, like we were talking before, that red light, when the red light goes on, you got to go.
It's time to go.
Yeah. So like,
there's no hesitation.
That's just something. You go through the curtain, you better come back through the curtain with something good, so that I've just always been, I've had the switch and I can turn it on whenever I want.
Are there any tapes of young Roman Reigns when you were a kid doing any of your wrestling impressions since you were around all the guys? Are they out there somewhere? Or are they buried at mom's house and you'll never look at them again?
I don't know. Definitely not at my mom's house. We were never like video camera people.
Okay, that's probably a good thing,
man. We didn't even have like a computer and stuff. Like we didn't have cable for the longest time. I remember my mom, and I was in high school, and like she got us cable, and like she made sure to turn my channel on to ESPN in my room. And when I walked in, I was like, hold on, we got cable? But I didn't, she got mad at me because I didn't really put it over as big as she wanted. But
we got cable!
Yeah, and it kind of pissed her off. But that was the thing, is we weren't like a big technology baby. I was I feel like kind of old school. I was just always outside running around playing sports, especially growing up down in Pensacola, Florida. Everything revolves around the ballpark.
Sure.
I probably spent more time, at our local ballpark, Myrtle Grove, than anywhere else other than my cousin's house. So, but I imagine there may be in one of my relatives some box in some attic or basement somewhere. There's a tape of us doing really goofy stuff. I don't know if they're impressions, but they could probably make me a laughing stock.
All right,
sure.
So someday it'll be on TMZ. Roman Reigns' first promo he ever cut. I know we got to wrap it up here soon, Roman. Just a couple more questions. Have you ever come close to slipping up during an interview, dropping a bomb on the microphone? And I ask that because when you guys are going, 15, 20 minutes doing a match, and then you got to get right on the mic or something, you got an interview right in the ring, your adrenaline's flowing hard there, and I can imagine it has to be pretty tough to keep yourself under control, because I've come close to slipping on this microphone many times.
Yeah, that's kind of like a inside thing, too, is we always laugh about, not saying the wrong thing, you know what I mean? Making sure, when you're going over stuff or thinking about stuff, for some reason, cursing happens, you know what I mean? But,
it just does.
Yeah, you kind of just put that in with, it's a terrible thing too, but it's very surprising that nobody slips up and drops an F-bomb or anything like that. But the big thing after you wrestle and then you have to talk is all right, control my breathing, because you're
yeah, you don't want Renee sticking the mic in your face. You're like, oh God, I'm gonna sound like an ogre here on the microphone. I got to sound like a pro.
Awake. Yeah, so that's the main thing. Is all right, focus. Calm my pulse. Calm the pulse.
Count to 4.
Where are we at? All right.
Be good.
Woosah.
Being here in D.C., are you going to use monuments, museums, or historical places to your advantage to finally win the selfie war against the Road Dogg? You have to do something today.
It's so funny that we're talking about the selfie war. Road Dogg,
I think it's great,
Road
dude.
Dogg, I'm coming for you, brother. I'm coming for you, man. I don't know. If I had time to get out, maybe. I'm trying to wait for a big finish. I try not to include too many things in my selfies. I think the last one I did was with a weird Terminator statue. I was at a licensing expo in Vegas, which I probably should have tagged that in. Sorry, expo people.
You gave him a plug right here. You're good.
Yeah. But there's definitely a good opportunity. I don't know. I need to get creative. I told him, if you're gonna do this selfie war with me, you got to get creative.
You got to climb up to the top of the Capitol building and do it with that guy that's right there, the big statue.
The Abe Lincoln statue, and just sit in his lap somehow. I'll probably get arrested for doing that.
No, you'll be fine, dude. People climb on that all the time.
Climb up there and take a picture with his big head behind me.
Act drunk like everyone else is down there. You'll be good. Turn the jacket inside out. They don't need to see WWE Network. You'll be fine.
Oh, look at this.
All right, last question for you. There's a lot of superstars that on Raw and SmackDown, we don't get to see them each and every week. And, that's for whatever reason. That's fine. Do you think, and I've thought this for a while now, do you think it would be beneficial for WWE to split the brands once again? Do you think that could help guys getting better segments on TV because they got to focus more on just that? Because when you're filling 5 hours, 3 on Raw, 2 on SmackDown, oh, and main event too, you got to do that. I mean, that's a lot of time for you guys, and maybe some stuff won't be as strong. Now, do you think splitting the brands might be a way to change things up? I
think so, yeah. I mean, it worked before, didn't it? Like,
it was great before. I mean, I thought it was some of the best stuff that they did.
And I think with that dynamic too, it adds to storylines and competition and things like that. And I think there was like a whole pay-per-view on I think it was called Bragging Rights, just based on that whole concept. So I think it works. If they're gonna do it, who knows? You know what I mean? That's something that's for the people.
Oh, sure.
There. But I think it definitely works, and it adds an interesting dynamic for sure.
Oh, and with that, I guess they'd have to split the titles again. I did want to ask you before you left, have you talked to Daniel Bryan? Is he doing all right? Have you had a chance to speak with him?
I haven't been able to talk. I've heard, through the grapevine and the boys and stuff, that he's doing better. He's at home, and I guess obviously Bree's helping him out a good bit, which was really cool on her behalf to put her career to the side and make sure her husband's fine. But I wish him the most comfortable and speedy recovery. Daniel Bryan, and this is a guy we battled with for a long time.
You guys had wars with him for a long time.
For him to be able to gut it out like he did, and I think he was hurt for a long time, and he just kept pushing through until he just couldn't do anything anymore about it. But hopefully it was just he'll get back to 110% and be back, and we're missing him.
Yeah, very cool, man. Well, Roman Reigns, we're going to see you tonight at Monday Night Raw. You and John Cena and Dean Ambrose are in a 6-man tag. No surprise for you to be in a 6-man tag. You're ready to go on that. Versus Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, and Seth Rollins. Plus Triple H is going to be there, of course. Demon Kane. You got all the superstars there. We can get tickets for that at Ticketmaster.com. And Sunday, Money in the Bank. Dude, hopefully I'm talking to the next WWE champion. That'd be awesome, man. Good luck.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
I definitely want my carry-on bag to be a good bit heavier.
Thanks a lot, my man.
Thanks for having me, buddy.